Hey YouTube, welcome back to Nick's TCG, and today we are back at it with another Dragon Ball Super card game Masters Top 16 deck profile. Coming once again from those boys from Canada, G3, and yeah, they really put on a clinic at the Masters Nationals event, placing 3 people in top 13, as well as one of the members on 17th place, rest his soul, and that's just a huge showing for this game. So what I want to say right before we get into the deck profile is if you want to go shop at their store, they have an online store, the link will be in the description for that, and you can use my code to get a percentage off. Best store you can have in Canada, and you can even order into the US if you're just willing to pay a little bit more shipping. So yeah, check that out. And then lastly, if you want to help support the channel, I am doing Fusion World content for Dragon Ball Super, and past that, I even have a whole channel just for Dragon Ball games in general. You can find that in the description as well. Go show it some love. Just need the watch hours, and then it's monetized. So with that being said, let's get into the deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so without further ado, let's get to the main event in this series of G3 players that have topped this current Dragon Ball Nationals. So I'm going to let our special guest introduce himself and let us know a little bit about what we did this weekend.
Hey guys, this is Andrew Klinger, the one and only from South Dakota. I mean that by saying I'm the only one from South Dakota, not that I'm that cool. So I played green Gohan this weekend. Got another top 16 with a green deck. Unfortunately, not Go Tanks as most people probably wanted me to play, but I had to play a little bit meta, I guess. So, yeah.
Alrighty then, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like Dragon Ball is a game where you have a lot of skill expression, but sometimes your opponent just plays better cards, and there's nothing you can do. So you might as well. You had to kick it up to top shelf green for this event.
A lot of one energy plays. It's just better that. Grim Reaper used to be so good, but now it's, you can pay 1 energy for cards like that. So
fair enough, fair enough. So I guess, yeah, how'd you finish this weekend at Nationals?
So Swiss, I went 7-2, and then I lost in the first round to Frisco.
All right, well that's still like what? That was top 16?
Yeah, I think 15th in Swiss. Yeah, so. They didn't finish the placing, so I guess we don't technically know who placed what out of the top 16, but if you look on the app, I'm dead last out of the 16, so yeah.
Look, top 16 is top 16.
Dane got 15th, and I will never forgive him. And he'll probably never let me bring it, he'll probably never let me live it down either.
I will defend you personally. If it ever comes down to me versus you and Dane, I will definitely look. Sorry, Dane. But yeah.
Up on his side.
Fair enough.
He's from Minnesota. We're neighbors, I guess. So had to throw him in there a little bit.
Look, he scares me because I always felt like winning a regional with U7 Gohan was gonna be like crowning accomplishment because the deck was never good enough to win anything ever again. And then he almost went XO, and luckily Miguel secured my only accomplishment that I will ever hang on to for that game. No other top means as much as that top for me, but yeah, I was like, Dana almost came for that, so, I'm biased, but if we can look at your deck list and start seeing exactly what it's all about, because a lot of people have known the ferocity and terror of green Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but yeah, I definitely wanted to see how you took your list up to the top this Nationals.
Yeah, so, a lot of people have seen this, like you just said. So leader draws top 5 for Green Saiyan. You whiff every now and then. Feels bad, but feel pretty good because you can take a lot of good targets. And then the backside, when you combo, you can bottom deck a card once per turn, so on both players' turns, and then draw 2. So if you use a super combo on defense, you can actually go +1. So that's very good. And then you get this field card that basically stuff cards underneath, and you can activate and play one of them for free, which is also very good. And you can also take some life when you do that. So some matchups you need to do that. So those boys that go underneath are Vegeta and Trunks. We got 4 of each because turn 1 you just really do not want to whiff. It's funny how back in the day we used to just play 4 Lord Slug or Wings 1 drops for Green Lord Slug, and that seemed to be sometimes enough, but now I'm at 8. Even though it's relatively the same size deck, you just really want to see it, So, a lot of people play Bulma. Yeah, I know Bulma's another consistency piece for it, but I went with my gut on it being enough, and it was. I didn't think I whiffed on it all tournament, so that's good. Some more boys that go under there are Goku and Gohan. Goku comes out barrier 24k on play, 14k for the rest of the other turns. He can pay 1 green, draw a card, place him in the drop, play up to one of these. So even if you don't have a Gohan underneath the field, you can still just send this to the drop and draw one. So that's come up every now and then for sure. And you don't necessarily play both on every turn, depends like how defensive you got to play too. But that's a nice turn 3 going into both. Awakening and then playing this. This guy, he on play kills something and then on swing combos with a green sand from your drop. If he combos with this guy from your drop, you just put him there for drawing one. Then he removes 2 markers off of Unison. So that is also really good. This deck kills Unisons really well. Really important to know that in the mirror, especially because we're also playing Unisons. So yeah, this is you get these by Z card, and that is how you go really big with hand size. If you don't do this, you're not going to get a large hand size. It's also a self-awakener. When you have that Goku out, you can awaken, go down to 6. Otherwise, you can just take life with your field, go down to 4, and you can awaken that way too. So you got different options depending on the matchup. Another archetype card is the big boy, Daddy and Son 8-drop. Barrier removal on swing. He's got barrier, deflect, double strike, pay 2. This is like the best 2 energy you can play probably in this game, offensively at least.
It's so gorgeous. Like, that card holds a special place in my heart. Maybe not just because I'm a Gohan stan. Actually, it's definitely because I'm a Gohan stan. But like a week or so before this card got released, everybody was like, "Why is green so gimmicky and bad?" Because you know how it is with Dragon Ball Super. And I was just talking about how you can't power creep green the same way as the other colors, because green's identity is hand destruction and board destruction. And I put up like Sin, and I was like, can you imagine if we got a green card like this? Pay 2 energy, blow up something through barrier, discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand, and remove a marker off of Unison. And people were like, yeah, that would be way too strong. And then like a week later, I saw this card, and I was like, oh no, they did it. And look at it.
Yeah. And I kind of, what I said about him comboing from the drop, that's actually your leader when you're awakened. A Gohan at childhood or as adolescence. It's one of these
Correct.
two. It's not other Gohans. It's not the next one you'll see. Gohan childhood. When a Gohan childhood swings, you can combo with a green sand from your drop. This one, if you combo with a 10k Goku, then you get to crit a life on swing, but you can only do that when you're Z awakened. So that with the Android 16 ban for this deck, which easily allowed you to go into the Z leader, you can't just do the crazy aggression. You actually have to play both turns now, which is now why I'm playing it, I guess. I didn't play it when it was strong, but now I'm playing it when it's also still very good, but not as crazy like I'm sweating for my life on their turn 4 kind of thing, So
Android 16 was the most wild ban to me, because we've been witness to a bunch of bans, but I've never seen a card get banned for literally doing what Bandai intended it to do. Like, they were just like, this card is meant to awaken immediately into your Z leader, and then like a little bit later, we're like, wow, no, I don't know about that, Chief. We gotta ban this card. I was like, bro, it's not even doing more than what you intended. It's doing exactly what you. Yeah, right. That's wild.
It was this card. This was the problem. Is because the critical life. I think that was the main problem. If they just took that away, they maybe could have kept it in 16. But I guess they had to hit it because it's green. They don't like it. Next up, we have the Go Bros 8-drop, which is the Suns with Goku in the background, of course. But this does not count for Gohan for the leader effect, unfortunately. But you're able to play this because we do play the green's the extra plus the field. That makes well, actually, you just need the green extra out, and this can come out for 1. Both of these last 2 cards, your opponents have 3 energy, so both of those can come out. If you need to save energy on defense, this is definitely a great play. If any green sand does damage on to your opponent, this card will trigger. You can either make them discard a card, or you can choose a card to KO. So it's got a lot of flexibility. It's a big swing, 1 energy. Hard to argue with him.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's a super foil. That's beautiful art.
Yep. It's a lot of good looking cards in this game, I'll tell you what. Then we got 3 Cooler. This is the card you can play going first on your turn 3, which is relevant in the mirror for sure. He's 20k double strike, which isn't that big, but he can rip a card or KO something on swing. And then he can stand if you have a unison that costs 2 or more in play. So sometimes a dual attack, double strike. Really good card late game when resources are a little bit lower, but not too threatening early in the game. It can be, but not necessarily the ideal play. And then our super combo is Paragus. Searchable off the leader swing. When you combo with this when you're awakened, it's really nuts because you just get to see 4 new cards.
Yeah.
Draw 2, warp 1, bottom deck 1, draw 2 more. So the filter in this deck is really good. That's good and necessary because the front side only finds sands, and already you're seeing, I guess, 1 non-sand. So I guess I can't really back that up. But you're about to see a lot more non-sands.
Understand. And Paragus is funny because like till this day, despite how old Paragus was, I think like set 6, a starter deck came out with set 6. It's still the only super combo that's been like mechanically just worded better. Like it's the only one where you see your options in full before you have to like pitch. The other ones are always like tuck, then draw 2, discard, then do this. Like it's just, he just got good.
I'm surprised they didn't just ban this card and just made all the colors all the colors do the same thing. But you know, you have your options in green, which is nice. And then here's our unison of choice. I play 4 King Vegeta unisons. Some matchups, especially the long grindy ones, you want to see this turn 3, then awaken, or you know, you just want to see this early and you don't search it with your leader. So I am a big fan of 4. You can always, I mean, you're bottom decking and filtering, warping 1 every turn. So dead cards in your hand don't just stay dead for long. So it's totally fine to like draw into this, and you can get rid of it still or just charge it. So what he does is crazy. He rips a random card out of your opponent's hand every turn. So that right there is my favorite aspect of green. That's why I play green. Salazar's Destroying Kamehameha is my favorite card. This is definitely right there. One little thing that he also does, which came up in my very last round of the matchup, he informed me after the fact, is it's -X for each marker you remove. You can actually KO one of your opponent's battle cards. So this can also be a board clear when you need it. And I failed to remember that in my last round, which led to a loss. But because the +1 is so juicy. He can also kill a card ignoring barrier on the +1. Forgot to mention. A lot of times that's better because you know they're just going to discard the card that lets them draw a card, especially in the yellow and greens. Well, sorry, it's random. So, but there's a chance.
Could hit them.
They could. Yeah. Yeah, more so in the U7 matchup. This is why I prefer this over Metacooler, because sometimes you just can't kill that 4-drop, and you do not want them to get 2 of those out there. So sometimes you just say, you know what, you did it, you got me, I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, that unison, I'm so glad it's seeing it play now, because since the drop, while I didn't necessarily have a home, just reading it was insane. Like it's just valid effects on the entire card. The only thing that really held it back was it, well, outside of it not having, or I think at the time they wanted to be bound to like some like sand
Apes.
deck that would and it was
you can reduce
really
the cost
wonky.
by spirit boosting, like on the counter attack, and you need to have an ape to reduce it by 1 green. It's hard to work better. Yeah.
And that was weird. But it's like the other thing though is that it has the most cursed normal art in existence, but one of the hardest SPR arts in existence.
Yeah.
Its normal art is I don't know who drew that, but like, dog. This is great though. This is great.
SPR is where it's at for sure. Yeah, he's looking like a bad egg. So of course we play a charismatic villain because we can just play 1 now. Sad. He kills 6-drop for a U7. That's really good. He kills some other things too that are pretty relevant, but it is nice to knowing like I have this isn't out for the turn, especially in that matchup, because you definitely want to test that matchup a lot because it's a really, really strong deck. So that is like, there is a couple cards that single that it's safe for me to tap out for unison or only keep 1 open. That is definitely one of those cards. Here's another one, Dormant Potential. This can be limit your opponent to just 2 attacks for the turn. If you have a unison out, it's free. So that's also really good with unison. Lets you play it and actually survive it. More floodgates. We got the Uneasy Awaken Rage. This is another floodgate. This deck is basically a blue deck, but you're ripping random cards. So this negates the attack, and then they have to Z-charge for every other attack, on even the leader, which is unique for all the other floodgates. And it's an extra card, so you can't really interact with the countering the skill of it very much. And it also draws you cards. So really you just lose one card from hand if you're paying 1 for this, which you would want to until later in the game when you get in like tighter situations. You definitely don't want to go neg in hand if you can afford to, but it's all a matter of balancing. More aggression would that be more advantageous, or just drawing cards. Then we play 2 King Cold negates because we play a field and an extra. This gets reduced down to a 1 cost. This adds attacks of them discarding card on leader swings only. It's not super great because they can just swing at your unison or just discard a card that lets them draw a card after siding. But it still feels really good to slam these down, especially if they swing after an uneasing and then you just King Cold, and then that practically ends their turn.
Yeah, and like I haven't seen that one in action, but like it sounds like in a simplified game state where like you need to end game, or one of you guys is about to gas out. It seems like that card is really problematic.
Yeah, and he's a 15k, so you can swing, or if you can actually, it doesn't happen very often because I usually kill it afterwards, but like if you can actually combo with this after, and then you're just even plussing again because you're bottom decking 1, drawing 2 from your hand after if you combo with a card like this, or a token negate that managed to not get killed or something like that. So there's multiple ways to combo from field and plus in your hand too. So I played 2 token negates. I just don't want to get double strike from 5 to 3. Yellow can do that. 21 can do that. There's definitely a lot of good decks that can do that. This deck can do that. So you just don't want that to happen, and you just play 2 of them. Next up, I got 2 Cooler counters plays. If the card's being 4 or less, it's played in the drop area instead of being played. And then if you're on play auto, and he's another 15k auto, just like King Cold. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in hand, they discard 1. So I believe you can actually counter. I mean, I read this, and I didn't do this at Nats, but I did this on our locals. But you can actually counterplay any card being played, and if the card is more or less. So if you just want to, if you have an extra energy, that they're not going to kill you. You can, you're like, I don't want to waste this energy. If they like play a blocker or something, I don't know. That doesn't really happen in this game, but
play a blocker, play another. I mean, if you need another body, you need another body.
Yeah, exactly. You can just like, I'm safe to tap out here. Go ahead and discard a card, and then here's this, body to swing at you. So. But definitely relevant for U7 4-drop. My favorite card in the game, 3 Earth Destroying Cells Earth Destroying Kamehameha. You think I wouldn't stumble on the name if it's my favorite card. This is a 15k boost to anything but your unison, and it rips a random card out of your opponent for 1 energy. So really good, really strong. That's the thing about Go Tanks, you could only play 2 back in Go Tanks because you're tapping 2 for things. This one you're allowed to play 3 because it always felt dead in Go Tanks as 3, but I honestly never charged these. These never felt dead. These always felt like I definitely can do this on my opponent's turn or on my turn kind of thing.
Yeah, it's crazy how that cycle of the signature move cards, like there wasn't a single miss in them. Like it's very rare that they create a cycle of cards and not one of them can be looked at and be like, oh yeah, that's bad.
Right. Yeah, I would say like the black one was the least used, but super good in like Supreme Kai Time or whatnot. It's definitely got its purposes. And then I've got 1 10k Goku, which is a counterplay. It's basically kind of like a charismatic villain, but you got to pay 1 energy for it. You also need to have 3 Z energy cost like represented on your board state, whether it be your leader, your Z extra, or Z battle cards, I believe. So yeah, you play this for 1, and then he sends itself to the Z energy, and your opponent's 7 or less to the Z energy on play auto. So, just also a target for the 8-drop to swing and create a life. I almost didn't play this, but then there's a way that you can counterplay U7 6-drop if you have a Broly Z card and your Z extra out. You can counterplay this before they have a chance to kill when they activate the main skill. So you can actually Z-charge their 6-drop if you pay 1 for this. So I figured that was good enough to keep in there instead of 2 for a green-yellow Zamasu. Then I got Secret Identity Overwhelm. Really solid card. Killing tokens, killing most stuff, going, a 4 and a 2-drop. Something like that. Staple in every deck. 1 Koitsukai. Yeah, I mean, Android 21 plays ghost tokens on your turn, so... Not ghost tokens, but clone tokens. And yeah, you can make them get punished for that. It's also decent in the mirror, because we like to play the King Cold negate, token negates, what have you, cooler counterplays. So yeah, it's a good card. Filters your hand and punishes your opponent playing stuff on your turn. And then you got Bursting Rage, the most obvious secret rare of choice nowadays for this deck. Unfortunately, I'm a big fan of like playing not obvious cards, but this one's just better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's built different.
Yeah, it's, and if 6-drop U7 didn't exist, I might consider like running Cell Max or something. Just be like, hey, do you have a token? Do you have a free negate for this Quad Strike right now? You know, just cheese kind of some wins there, because that's kind of how Green has won in the past. Cells, you know, either sell, but this guy just for free you get to 40k on defense and you draw a card one time. It's just a nice. It's not quite a baby hatch, but you know, it gets around their biggest swing, and then unfortunately the ruling of your opponent can't attack with 25k or more battle cards for the rest of the turn. They already have to be in play when you activate this.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I mean, like I know that that's how they ruled it. It's just that like the way that card is worded. Like even when I don't like rulings, normally with Dragon Ball Super Masters, I can look at the card and be like, but it is worded that way. That card sounds like it puts like a condition on the player, not the cards on board, and so I'm very, very not happy with how they ruled this card.
Yeah. Especially for my deck, I think it would have been best, you know, I mean, everybody playing it obviously would have preferred that way, but probably more people would have been on it too, but it would make life a lot simpler, that's for sure, because you can definitely you can play around this, you know, which is unfortunate, but it's still, I mean, when your Z leader costs 2 like this one does, it's really nice to have that. And then we got our Z pile here. Shout out, Max. We got our Z leader. Yeah, he's a double striker, and then instead of combo bottom deck 1 draw 2, you discard 1 draw 2. So sometimes I wish it was also the combo part, but it's nice. It's because now, yeah, I don't know. It's good filter, but it's only on 1 turn instead of both, you know. So, but obviously, if you're going into Bursting Rage, if you can get to 45, sometimes you just get that free filter. That's nice too. I can't find my other one right now because I got 2 pre-releases for the event and gave out 1 to another guy. So I guess, but I do play 2 of the Goku's 1-drops. This is what gets the 4-drop, the Vegeta or the Goku and the Gohan underneath the field card on your turn 2 as soon as you can do it. And then that's kind of just, it's really good to play a second one later in the game if you can find time, because that's free advantage. You play that Gohan that can basically just draw you 1 card on swing, and you didn't cost any cards out of your hands to do that because this is coming from your Z deck. So I was on a Frieza before, but Miguel was definitely saying, hey, I don't get why people aren't just playing 2 of those, and I tested it a couple games and I was like, you're absolutely right. I was able to put on way more pressure when you need to by playing 2 of these than a Frieza could ever do that. So, and then go ahead.
Oh no, I was just like, when it first came out, it was like that reading that card definitely kind of confused me, because like part of that was definitely for your initial startup, but then another part of that effect felt like this isn't really exactly like an early game thing. So I see like why you play 2, because like it definitely can be played later out, and it just feels great. Like it fits in multiple places of the game, but without any protection. It doesn't normally like last from the first time you play it up until when you're gonna get the mileage out of it. So I see why you're playing 2.
Yeah, I honestly wish I could just kill it off though. It's really bad to leave hanging around in the U7 matchup, and it's really bad to have like hanging around in the set 2021 matchup. So
that's fair enough.
I wish I could just sacrifice it off to something like bring back Belmod or something, you know, like I need a way to get rid of these dead cards on the field. They're just a 10k, and they do kill a 3 or less on play, which is also kind of relevant. So yeah, it doesn't. I just want to God once it's there. I wish it wasn't even a battle card.
I hear you.
But yeah, so it's just for later advantage when you know you can survive a turn. You just gotta really like know what your opponent can do, which is all this game's all about. Next up, I got 2 of the Z extras. Learning these extras is definitely like the first step of this game if you're kind of getting into it or you don't quite know what all the cards do. It used to be the unison counterplays. I would say nowadays it's definitely learning what every color Z extra does, because they all have a free effect, and then the black one has 2 free effects, but all the other ones you got to pay 1 and have a bigger effect. So this one, for free, discard a Z energy from your Z energy I don't know why
Fair
I said
enough.
that. Yep, and then you get a 10k boost and you can kill a 3 or less, which some people fall into that. You got the Broly red cards with Overlord or something like that. If they swing at that, hey, you don't get to draw. Pan, red Pan, that's a good one to hit with that. And then the active battle for 1 green, ditch 3Z energy. It's just a Cells Earth destroying, but it also kills a 5 or less as well. So you can get a 15k boost on any card, so the Unison can get this too, and then you can kill a 5 or less. I wish it was 6. Or just even 7. You know, you got rid of my Frieza, give me a 7 or less kill on this, you know? Something like that would have been sick. Yeah, so really great card. And it sets up a lot of your plays. King Colds and 8-drop Go Bros. And then I played 2 Broly because this synergy with Cooler and just this having removal, it says 2 cost, but it's only a 1 cost because you just gotta send a card to your drop area, reduce it by 1 Z energy and 1 cost, and then you can send another. Once you have 3 or more energy, you can activate main, kill a non-unique card on your battle area, and then it can kill an opponent's card. If you have 4 or more energy, he also gets 5k and double strike if a card is sent in the drop. So that auto, when you have 4 or more energy, can be triggered off anything that you kill, like maybe with your Z extra or something, not necessarily just with his effect. So it's kind of sneaky that way, and it's once per turn too. So if you like negate or do something defensive on, he gets a 5k boost. It is whatever, but it's sometimes it's important to know that. Some interesting facts are like, this is in your battle area and it's not unique, so you can definitely kill off your field later in the game. Don't do that too early. One of my opponents, I thought, definitely did that too early in the mirror. And that was definitely like, okay, I guess you're not going to King Cold Floodgate me this game, you know? So it's because you also want that resource too. So you do it when you can in a pinch. But oftentimes it's just like even your 8-drop, you just kill that off because you know your opponent's going to kill it anyway. So you might as well get some value out of it too. So yeah, Cooler can stand off of that for 1 energy. That's really good. And then we have the side deck, King Cold Negate number 3. I kind of wish that this was in the main deck instead of a 3rd King Cold or a King Cooler, King Cold, Frieza, the Cold Clan. Speaking of which, we got a 3rd Cooler for the U7 matchup because you don't want to get just auto burned by that 4-drop. And then a 2nd Dormant, also again for U7 because this can save your butt against the 6-drop. You can play the Unison, know you won't die, or at least you think you won't die, hopefully. And then I have a Koitsukai, 2nd copy of Koitsukai for Cooler Mill in set 2021. I guess maybe both 21s. It's a good card. I still just like Koitsukai at 1 in the main against like the board, but against Cooler Mill, you definitely needed 2 of those for sure. Then I got 3 anti-hand destruction Vegetas for the mirror match, and even maybe you could find room against set 21 when they play the 8-drop. If you want to counter, you can discard this and draw a card. That's what its effect is. If your opponent makes you discard a card, you play this after you discard it and draw a card. But it's so hard to side in cards in this deck because the main deck is just too tight. And then I play 2 anti-dimension magic Vegetas with barrier. He's okay. He's pretty good. Blue decks that aren't 21, it comes in. Like I was saying before, there's just not enough sideboarding room to really add more because you definitely want these Cunnings because you don't want them just to, for free, play the 8-drop and then untap their whole, get their whole turn back on defense. So, yeah, you got to play Cunnings, but you can't really play them till about turn 3, sometimes 4. So, but you don't need to right away either, so it's fine. Another U7 tech is Defender of Justice. This one's kind of cute. It's on color, which is, makes it really nice, but it says that this counter attack cannot be negated. So if they're playing U7 with Bursting Rage, they can't just swing at you with 2 life and back up a huge double strike you can't get out of with a Cooler counter. It's really nice. I would definitely recommend one of it at least. Never came up, but I wish I've had it in testing, and so I definitely got to play one.
Fair enough.
Yep, definitely. And it's on color, so it doesn't hurt you. All the other colors got to play a black one, so I guess don't hold my word on that one. I don't know for sure, but I know there's a black one that does it, Burning Slash. This is a really cute card, pretty black hole. First of all, love Universe 2. I don't know why, but the episode was my favorite episode from TOP for sure. But this lets me kill one of my cards. If I place it in the drop, I get to draw a card and kill of value equal to its energy cost on your opponent's side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
So something specifically this comes in for is Future Red Gohan, because their 8-drop doesn't kill anything on swing, like the auto might or something like that. But I think it's actually the active main to stand it is what kills it. But most players are going to be like, oh, I definitely want to get 3 attacks out of this or whatever it is. Maybe just 2.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play that match at the event, but I've definitely played against the deck, and so that's why I know that this is good, because I can just have an 8-drop on field and just kill their 8-drop that they paid 2 for, and I maybe just paid 1 for mine and 1 for the negate. So it's really good value. Unfortunately, the card does need to get placed in the drop area, so I was like, I can kill my 1-drop. Little guys I don't want around anymore, but I don't get the second effect where I can kill anything and draw cards. So. You know, it's definitely good. I would just put it against Future Han. Jiren, unfortunately, their 8-drop kills something on play. Otherwise, I would really want it in that one too. So unless you have 2 8-drops somehow, but yeah. Next up is 1 Hunt for Gogeta, because I'm scared of that deck. You know, I don't want the cards not to be able to remove. So didn't get to see that matchup, luckily, but I think you got to play 1, just like you got to play a Jiren, because there are decks out there that can turn in the tide you real quick. And I think it's smart to have it, especially on your side when people get to check your top list or your list in top cut, but we didn't do that at the event for some reason. So yeah, there's the sideboard. That's the whole deck.
A lot of singletons in there.
Yeah, I also am a big fan of pre-siding a bunch of singletons like in the main board, just because you never know what you're gonna see, and I just feel like I always want an answer to it too. But so, like, you know, there's a lot of duplicates in here too that add up to the deck to make 2 of. But yeah, there's my thoughts on that.
Well, dig it. Well, real quick, did you want to go into your match breakdown before we tied up?
Yeah, for sure. First round got the bye, and second and third round, not in any particular order. I played Xeno Trunks. Still kicking. That's a good deck. He did admit to a misplay where he wasn't taking his whole life. He wasn't expecting me to like play defensive and like whittle away his hand and just kill his unison every single turn. And that definitely cost him the game, because it was I definitely forgot that the 8-drops comes in active mode, and I almost died. It was a 5k game because of that. So I definitely could have like won without that closeness, but I had a blunder and it almost cost me. So luckily, like, barely got out of that one. Props to Jose for sure. Hand Control 21 was probably next. I got a lot of answers for that deck. I can kill your unison, I can kill the barrier that draws them. So both of their draw engines I can remove, and they struggle with killing my unison. So I think that deck just does 1-for-1 trades with the super combo, and if it can't keep drawing to like fuel that engine, then it's definitely gonna piddle out, and you'll overcome it for sure. Round 4 was definitely Dane. Unfortunately, and he got the best of me with his set 2021. He definitely has the advantage of testing this matchup more than I tested the matchup. He's got some good players out in Minnesota that he gets to play against, and yeah, he definitely knew the right outs to my entire deck. So it's unfortunate in that matchup, because if you play the 8-drop, they can counter window to tap it, and then play their 21. So you don't even get to swing. You don't get to do anything with it. So just like a yellow deck holding up a Mutaido, the best thing to do against that deck is just never even play it unless you see a window, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so he got the best of me there. He topped though, so it was good loss for sure. And then round 5, round 6, I played the mirror match, and played the mirror match twice today. And I think the important thing in the mirror match is to note when your opponent plays the Gohan from underneath the field, because then you're allowed to play your unison. You can never play your unison before then, because they will just kill it with the effects of it burning 2, and then they'll probably play the Go-Bros, 8-drop, burn another 2. So it's just always going to die off of that, unless you have a charismatic villain at a 1-of. And so you just wait for them to do that. It's a matchup of who awakens last, kind of. The going first, going second doesn't necessarily matter, so I really like that. It's a bunch of nuances in the mirror. Really enjoy it, actually. And then I played Evelyn on set 2021. That was my 1 win on that match up. had another loss on it later. Round 7 played Pan, and Tim's been on that deck forever. That was a really tight one. He pushed me down hard early, and unfortunate ending with time rules and stuff like that. And you hate to see a game come to that, but that's how Bandai wants the game to be played, I guess. So it is what it is. Then round 8 was the mirror. Played Sebastian, I believe was his name, from France. Awesome experience to have these international players come. Really, it was. I feel like you don't get to experience that in a lot of like journeys through life. You know, you don't get the exposure to people from over the pond. You know, different countries. It's great that this game has brought us all together. You know, that way too, and just to think as hard as we can against each other. It's really a unique experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then last round was Raymond, teammate, another top player out of the top 16. He got 3rd place. I'm sure you were talking about this already, or maybe next up. Yeah, he was on set 2021. He's the one that told me my unison can kill things on the minus. You know, he established 2 8-drops and a secret rare. I was absolutely toasted. Had I -2 and probably killed both 8-drops, I might have had a shot. So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I did that. That's such an enjoyable effect to blockade. I'll take that card. I'll take that. I did rip 1 secret rare, and it was Sebastian's Golden Cooler on the event. So that's why it's my favorite effect in the game. And it's probably really, really terrible, like toxic to play against it. But it's an enjoyable experience for me.
Fair enough. Well, real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to G3 Gaming. Essentially, it's the best store you're going to find in Canada. You're going to be allowed to buy plenty of TCG product from a great variety. The staff there, pretty tight. The owners, pretty cool. The team, as you can see, they are winning. So like, yeah, go over there, go in the description, check out the site, and use my code that's also going to be down there to get some percentage off of their site. And post that, is there anything you wanted to shout out, anybody you wanted to shout out?
You already shouted out the team. I mean, they were pretty much my only testing going into this. My locals kind of died out, unfortunately, but shout out to South Dakota, I guess. Yeah. We're here. Not shout out to North Dakota. That's all I got to say. That's my final.
Oh, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. All right. We got it. Well, thank you guys for joining in. Like I said before at the start of this video, see if we can get this video over 100 likes for the hype, the Masters solidarity. And yeah, I'm gonna move over to the Patreon thanks portion of the video, and I will see you guys in the next article, next video, maybe next event, wherever we tend to intersect. So one more time, let's give it up for Andrew. And yeah, hope you guys are having a great day. Alrighty then, welcome back to the Patreon appreciation section of the video. Thank you guys for giving this channel the extra oomph, the extra support. And on this Patreon, you're going to be finding articles that are a little too long to put on the channel in like channel form. Because of Cardfest and Nationals, I was a little swamped this past month, but we are getting right back into it, expecting the Uta starter deck breakdown to come out soon, and then we're gonna also start going full tilt on some Fusion Worlds. I've got 2 Uta starter decks for giveaways, so just keep your eye out for that one, because that will be what we are on next. And yeah, and lastly but not least, I want to thank you for the extra oomph, the Realm of Xers, the Burars, the Brysars, the Big Daddy Flapjacks. Thank you for giving me even more support than the norm, and I will see you guys all in the next article and or video.